Deuteronomy 22:5 says, "The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God." Now, of course, what pertaineth to a man depends on where you live, what year it is, what century you're in, et cetera, et cetera. Because thousands of years ago, when this was written, men had a certain type of a way that they dressed, women had a certain type of way that they dressed. And so what was appropriate for the way that they dressed then has nothing to do with what's appropriate now. So back then, a lot of the men wore robes, for example. Well, these days, you don't see men walking around in robes. So the style of dress has changed, but what has not changed is that as a rule, each society has set aside what men generally wear and what women generally wear. And so what did God say about that? He said, "The woman shall not wear that which pertains to a man. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are an abomination to God." God doesn't like it. Now, let me pause and say that if you have stumbled upon this site and you are wondering why I'm using scriptures, this site is called Christian News and Interviews. So I approach topics from a Christian perspective. And here's my topic. More and more men are wearing women's clothing. Check this out. Russell Westbrook's Tom Brown skirt was the real MVP of New York Fashion Week. Skirts for men are here to stay. During New York Fashion Week, Russell Westbrook and a few other leading men made a strong argument for the emerging but not so new menswear staple. Westbrook's position was compelling, using the master of genderless skirts himself, Tom Brown, as his medium. The point guard effortlessly sported a quintessential brown off-white cap, cardigan, ankle-length skirt, diamond choker, and lace-up boots. The blue hair was a nice touch, too. If you've been paying attention, the skirt has quickly become one of the most exciting micro trends in men's clothing, swaying in and out of the mainstream over the years. It's popped up in runway collections, lookbooks, and then it goes on and on and on, where this person is just so excited to see these men in women's clothing. So let me go down a little bit and see if there's anything else from this article that I want to share with you. Let's see. Jordan Clarkson equally turned heads at New York Fashion Week, proudly donning a skirt in his head-to-toe brown fit, wearing Brown's own playful reinterpretation of the modern uniform. This wasn't new territory for Clarkson. The Utah Jazz player has consistently sat at the top of NBA's best dressed list this past year, and even recently wore a full look of what in the world is this word? Highs Nobiety exclusive Tom Brown collection. I got it. It's high snobity, like snob, high snobity. Outside of the NBA's club, the man on the moon himself, Kid Cudi, wore a long black skirt and Nirvana's shirt, a possible callback to the off-white floral dress he wore during his Saturday Night Live performance, and to Kurt Cobain himself. It was right on point for Cudi, an extension of his grunge and punk aesthetic that we've fallen in love with over the years. And I'm going to move down. And remember when Kanye rocked a Givenchy kilt during his Watch the Throne tour? He went on to describe his fashion choice as something fit for a warrior. Whether you agree with it or not, the kilt is essential in both Scottish and Irish culture. Burberry pulls from that long-standing history and gives us its own take on the kilt, using the brand's signature checkered print. Yohei Yamamoto is another name that is no stranger to genderless and futuristic designs. The Y3 cloud skirt has made its is made using technical fabric and features padded quilt all over its body. Going to move forward past that. And I'll end by reading the last paragraph. You can't mention men's skirts without mentioning Tom Brown. We admit that there is a little of a bias here, as the American designer did bless us with our own special collection. But what's not to like? The black skirt pairs well with American classics like the white button down or nicely cut formal jacket. The men's skirt is a direct product of Brown's innate ability to define and redefine the men's uniform. Here's the $1,000,000 question. Why? Okay, American men are not in Scotland. And in Scotland, a kilt is not considered to be a woman's item of clothing. Remember, it depends on where, it's all relative. Where do you live? What is the custom? There's nothing feminine about a man wearing a kilt if that man is Scottish and living in Scotland. But what's going on with these American men who are throwing on these dresses? These are not kilts that these men are throwing on. These are dresses. Now, I want you to look carefully at each man. And I want to see if you notice something interesting about each man. Let's look at this man first. Man number one. Look at man number two. Oh, that's still Westbrook. Look at man number two. You just saw Westbrook. This is man number two. I guess this is Clarkson. Let's look at number three. Look at the pictures. I want you to know something about all these men. Look at this, look at his hands, look at the complexion of his hands. All right, this is a woman, I hope. And this is a woman, I believe. This is a man. Look at his complexion. Look at his legs. Look at his hands. Did you get it? Brown skin. This is a woman. Brown skin. Brown skin. Brown skin. Brown skin. Brown skin. What is this obsession with putting brown-skinned men in dresses? Can somebody explain that? What is this obsession with putting brown-skinned men in dresses? And further, what is this obsession with putting men in dresses anyway? And why are these men going along with it? Tell me what you think below.